The main character, Emily Carter, after a series of personal upheavals and losses, decides to leave it all behind and embark on a journey through the diverse landscapes of America. She leaves her familiar life in the city and sets out on a long hike through national parks and wild places. In the midst of the rising sun against the backdrop of Manhattan skyscrapers, Emily Carter stood on the roof of her tall office building. Her gaze was not fixed on the nearby skyscrapers, but on distant mountains and open spaces that evoked a strange sense of longing and freedom simultaneously. It's time for a change, she thought. Recently lost love and a failed project in her career forced her to look at her life in a new way. The future, once seemed predictable, now remained uncertain, like a blank sheet of paper awaiting its first ink trace. Descending from the roof, Emily looked at the world around her with eyes expecting something more. She decided that the answers to her questions were not in office walls or in a tiny apartment in Brooklyn. She needed something beyond the familiar and comfortable. Days of counting in the office and evenings with a glass of wine had become tiresome. A journey, a sudden idea surfaced in her mind like a bright star in the dark sky. A journey to herself. On the day when the fateful decision to embark on a journey appeared in her life, Emily felt excitement piercing every cell of her being. She couldn't resist the temptation of adventures and unexplored horizons. At the moment when impromptu preparations became inevitable, she decided not to waste time and take that step into the unknown. The preparation for the journey was swift and resolute. Emily packed the essentials, allowing excitement and thrill to replace careful planning. Her suitcase filled with light summer clothes, books, a notebook, and a camera. The trip began right after sunset, when the sky painted itself in bright hues of a fiery sunset. Emily felt that her heart was beating in unison with the rhythm of the train wheels. The journey became not only a physical movement, but also an internal immersion into the world of the unknown. In each new place, she encountered amazing people, immersed herself in local customs, tried exotic food, and enjoyed the beauty of diverse landscapes. Sparks of curiosity and joy gleamed in her eyes with every encounter, every discovery. After a few weeks, she found herself on the Appalachian Trail, with her own thoughts and her hiking boots as the only companions in this new journey. She was not only to overcome physical barriers but also to delve into the depths of her soul. Hermit in the mountains. Emily moved along a winding trail surrounded by the sounds of the forest and the sense of freshness. Thick foliage hung over the path, allowing only fragmented sunlight. Her feet confidently stepped forward, as if each subsequent step brought liberation. After covering several miles, she stopped on an open slope, revealing a view of the green mountain peaks. Massive stands of pine and fir created the impression of an endless ocean of greenery. It was her first glimpse of freedom. Setting up her tent in a clearing, she realized that ahead lay many days of solitude and contemplation. Stars scattered across the night sky like sparks in her own musings. In the darkness of the forest, she began writing in her journal, leaving words that sailed with the wind's whispers. Here, among the mountains, I begin my inner journey. Every step leaves a mark on the ground, but also in my soul. Now, I am not just Emily, I am a wanderer among the trees and my own thoughts. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. She encountered other travelers, whose stories intertwined with her own. Meetings on the trail became moments of exchanging not only experiences but also fragments of life stories. Following her physical journey through the mountains, Emily also explored her inner mountains, fears, hopes, doubts. She mastered the art of acceptance, like the trees standing firm despite the winds of change. The world around me reveals its mysteries, and I understand that I, too, am a mystery. But now, I begin to unravel this mystery before myself. Each day, as the sun set behind the peaks, leaving fiery traces in the skies, Emily fell asleep feeling that her heart was becoming freer, as if a part of her soul was returning to nature. Having crossed the mountains, Emily found herself in the silent expanses of the prairie. Here, winds blew freely, unimpeded. Open spaces seemed boundless, like an endless sea where the wanderer's soul got lost. The trail led her through valleys where herds of bison moved slowly, creating picturesque landscapes. Emily felt that every breath of nature was absorbed by her, as if a part of her own breath became a part of this world. One day, at noon when the sun stood at its zenith, she decided to sit on the top of a hill covered in soft grass. Closing her eyes, she listened to the whisper of the wind, feeling its touch on her skin. In that moment, she realized that a part of herself had become boundless, like the expanses of the prairie. I am not alone, I merge with this world, she thought, feeling connected to the nature around her. Passing through towns and villages along the trail, she interacted with local residents, sharing her impressions and listening to their stories. Being amidst different cultures, Emily discovered that her own roots were deepening. The strength of this journey lies not only in the path itself but in how it changes the perspective on the world and oneself, she wrote in her journal, sitting by the campfire. Now, standing on the riverbank, Emily saw the reflection of her own face in the water. Eyes, full of determination and tranquility, looked at her as if saying, "You have found what you were looking for." But her inner journey is not yet complete. The river's water carried the echo of the future, and she knew there was much more to see before her heart could be completely free. Emily's journey through deserts and canyons. Emily forged her way through deserts and canyons, feeling the sand beneath her feet, and hearing the rustle of the wind carrying the scent of freedom. With each new stage of her journey, she realized that the vast world around her was a mirror of the boundless world within herself. The encounter with the Grand Canyon became a pivotal moment in her adventure. When she first gazed into the abyss of the canyon, as if trying to measure its vast expanses with her eyes, she realized that a person could be a small fragment of this immense world, yet simultaneously feel the infinity within. I am not just a part of this world. I am a part of it, she whispered to herself, gazing into the abyss. This part of her journey gave her not only physical freedom but also freedom of thought. She met people with different perspectives, learned to see the world through their eyes. She mastered the art of acceptance and respect for differences, which gave her the strength to be anyone she wanted to be. Every horizon, every canyon edge, were points connecting her to new facets of her identity. She understood that true freedom lies in acknowledging oneself and the surrounding world. In one of the small settlements where she stopped, Emily met an old healer who gifted her an amulet made from a stone found in the deepest corners of the canyon. This stone knows many stories and has endured much. Just like you, the old man told her, pointing to the amulet. You are part of something much greater. Remember that. Emily looked at the amulet, feeling its surface warming in her hand. She sensed a connection to the past and the future, as if her own story became a part of the eternal narrative of this amazing world. The gaze into the future was filled with uncertainty, but now she felt unafraid of that uncertainty. It was important for her to be not just a traveler but also someone who leaves her own mark in history. Emily's culmination by the Pacific Ocean. As Emily progressed towards the Pacific Ocean, she felt that each step not only brought her closer to completing a stage of her journey, but also marked the beginning of something new. The ocean shore became the place where she sensed that her inner journey reached its culmination. Stepping onto the sandy shore, Emily paused and gazed at the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean. The sounds of waves meeting the shore filled the air. In these moments, she felt her heart beating in unison with the surf, like the music of a grand concert. "The world is much bigger than I thought," she whispered, looking at the endless waters of the ocean. "And I am much more than I could have ever imagined." With each wave touching her feet, she left uncertainties and fears in the past. It was a moment of rebirth, realizing that the power to shape her path was in her own hands. She could be anyone she wanted to be. Sitting on the shore, closing her eyes to better absorb the energy of this moment, her soul carried colorful memories from the entire journey, like a painting created by nature and the events she experienced. "Now I am free. Free to be myself," she whispered, feeling the last remnants of doubt disappear. Emily stood up and surveyed the boundless ocean, which seemed infinite, like a world of possibilities spread out before her. Her eyes sparkled with determination and a sense of fulfillment. "Thank you, world, for this amazing journey. Now I am ready to move forward, no matter what." Overall, the combination of physical activity and travel can have a powerful impact on one's well-being, providing a balance between physical and mental health, as well as fostering personal growth and self-discovery. Traveling offers an opportunity to immerse oneself in new cultures, customs, and surroundings. It expands horizons, helps understand the diversity of the world, and introduces new perspectives into life. With a hopeful and confident gaze, Emily embarked on a new chapter of her life, leaving a mark in the history of this vast and wondrous world.